You know, Montreal Expos fans have a great affection for this player. The first original Expo in 1969 to get a hit, the first one to score a run, and the first one to make a putout in Canada. Well, when Gary Sutherland made it to the Montreal Expos, it was a high promise. Gene Mauch felt he could be a very good Major League second baseman, although he didn't really meet our expectation for Montreal. Still very beloved. He played 13 seasons in MLB from 66 and 78 for the Phillies, Expos, Astros, Tigers, Brewers, Padres, and Cardinals. He also played college baseball at USC. During Sutherland's major league career, he played 717 games as second baseman and 164 games at shortstop. He compiled a 243 batting average, but became known for his finesse in turning the double play. One person said he was the Dick Green of the National League. Sutherland led all NL second basemen with 110 double plays turned during the 69 season. In 69 again, he also scored the first run in franchise history for the Expos and recorded the first putout in a regular season MLB game ever played in the Great White North. Now his career stints included 66 and 68 with the Phillies, 69 to 71 with the Expos, 72 and 73 with the Astros, 74 and 76 with Detroit, Milwaukee Brewers in 76, the Padres 77, and Cardinals in 78. Career 24 home runs with 239 runs batted in. A native of Glendale, his father Ralph was a left-handed pitcher in minor league baseball in the 30s and 40s. His older brother Darrell was a right-handed pitcher for the Mets from 64 to 66. Now, when he attended Glendale High School, he later went on to USC. He played college baseball there and was selected an All-American, but while playing for the Trojans under head coach Ron Dudeau. Sutherland represented the United States in baseball at the 64 Summer Olympics as a demo sport in Tokyo. Now, in November 64, after completing his sophomore year at the University of Southern California, he was signed by the Phillies to a bonus contract as an amateur free agent. He began his pro career in 65 at age 20 with the Chattanooga Lookouts in the Southern League. He appeared in 141 games for Chattanooga in 65 with a 285 average and was promoted in 66 to the San Diego Padres, then of the PCL. In 66, he appeared in 140 games for the Padres and compiled a 254 batting average. Now, he made his major league debut with the Phillies on September 17, 66 at the young age of 21. He appeared in 3 games for the Phillies at the end of the season and had no hits in those 3 at-bats. When he began the 67 season as a left fielder, he appeared in 25 games at the position. In the early weeks of the rookie season, he performed well at the plate, going 11 for 19 during one stretch in May 67. Now, on April 30, 67, he had a pinch hit double in the ninth to drive in the game-winning runs against the Braves. By late 67, he led the Phillies with a 407 batting average. He remained with the Phillies through the 67 season, but moved to shortstop, playing 66 games at the position as a substitute for the Phillies' regular shortstop and future Expo, Bobby Wine. Sutherland compiled a 247 batting average and 231 at-bats during his rookie campaign. After the 67 season, the Phillies sent him to the Florida Instructional League in an effort to convert him into a catcher. In December 67, the Sporting News described the strategy in shifting Sutherland to catcher. He isn't a capable enough gloveman to handle a shortstop job in a big league club on a regular basis, and he isn't enough of a slugger to become a full-time outfielder, but he does everything defensively fairly well and could well enjoy a long tenure with the Phillies as a utility player. Now, get this. In 68, he appeared in 17 games at second base, 10 at shortstop, 10 at third base, 5 in right field and 2 in left field. He did not appear in any games in catcher. After receiving regular playing time at second base at the end of the 68 season, following an injury to Cookie Rojas, the former future Kansas City Royal, Sutherland had 12 hits and 17 at-bats over 5 games to raise his batting average from 224 to 290. He also combined 5 game-winning hits in his 138 bats in 68. But with the arrival in Montreal, he was high in Gene Mauch's radar, and in October 68, he was drafted as the 8th pick in the expansion draft. Ironically, second baseman and shortstops are 8th in the batting order. In the Expo's inaugural season, he became the team's starting second baseman, appearing in 139 games at the position while compiling a 239 respectable batting average. Now, on April 8, he had the first hit and first run in the Expo franchise history off a Bob Bailey double in the first inning of the Expo's inaugural game, an 11-10 victory over future World Series champs, the New York Mets at Shea Stadium. This is very ironic because Jean Drapeau threw out the first ball in the game in a sign of the importance of the NL East division from then on. He also recorded the first putout in Major League regular season game in Canada off, of all people, Lou Brock at Gerry Park. Sutherland continued as Expo starting second baseman in 1970, appearing in 97 games at position while batting an anemic .207. Despite his declining batting average, Mock continued to express confidence in Sutherland, telling the Sporting News that he was one of the toughest men in the National League to strike out, and no signs of giving up despite 2 frustrating seasons. Now in 71, the arrival of Ron Hunt, who took over as the Expo starting second baseman. He split his time between second and shortstop with 102 games in those positions. Now, in 72, he found himself in the minor leagues, mostly with the Oklahoma City 89ers and the Peninsula Whips. In June 72, he was traded by the Expos to the Astros, but he appeared only 5 games for them during the 72 season. Now in 73, with the great Tommy Helms remaining the Astros starting second baseman, he appeared in only 16 games for Houston. He spent most of the 73 season in the minor leagues with 134 games with the Denver Bears of the AA, which obviously Denver was a future Montreal affiliate. Now, when he moved to the Tigers, he had better fortunes. He dealt along with Jim Ray to the Tigers for Fred Sherman at the winter meetings in December 73. At the time of the trade, Detroit scout Jack Ty opined, Sutherland makes a double play as good as anyone who ever played, and that includes Bill Mazeroski and Frankie Frisch and all the rest. Sutherland became the Tigers' starting second base in 74, and began the season with renewed strength to the plate, batting .417 early in the campaign. He finished the season with 254 batting average and recorded career highs with 149 games played, 337 putouts, 652 player appearances, 619 at-bats, 157 hits, and 49 RBIs. Now, this is a person who spent the last 2 years in the minors. He ranked third in the AL in at-bats and led the Tigers in hits. He also led the American League with 489 outs in 74. He credited his defensive improvement in 74 to having played every day in the minors for the previous 2 years. Fielding in the minor leagues is just like fielding in the majors. You still have to catch the ball and throw it. Like I said, it's a simple game. You throw the ball, you catch the ball, you hit the ball. Now, he remained the Tigers' starting second baseman in 75, appearing in 128 games at second base and ranking second in the AL with 21 errors at the position. He had a .255 batting average in 75. Now, during the 75 season, Sutherland began experiencing dizziness, and doctors suspected he may suffer from borderline diabetes. Midway through the season, he began an unusual diet to what is required to eat peanut butter, soda crackers, and raisins 3 times a day. Now, between April 76 and May 78, he played for 4 major league clubs. He began 76 season with the Tigers, with 42 games at second base. But it's June 76, he was traded by the Tigers to the Brewers for Pedro Garcia. He appeared in 45 games at second base for the Brewers with a .217 batting average. He was then released by the Brewers in February 77. Now, in April 77, he signed a contract as a free agent with the Padres, playing 30 games at second and 21 games at third, batting .243, and he was released by the Padres in December 77, obviously with Ozzie Smith in the works. Now, in 78, January, he was signed by the Cardinals as a free agent. He only appeared in 10 games for the Cardinals with a .167 batting average and 6 at-bats. He appeared in his last major league game on May 19th, 78, and was released by the Cardinals on May 26th. Now, 13-year major league seasons, he batted and played in 1,031 games, .243, .291 on-base percentage, 239 RBIs, 754 hits, 109 doubles, 10 triples, and 24 home runs, 308 runs scored, and 207 bases on balls. After retiring as a player, Sutherland continued to remain involved in professional baseball as a scout and administrator. From 1999 to 2011, he served an important tenure as a special assistant to GM of the LA Angels. Sutherland was responsible for coordinating the Angels scouting organization. Unfortunately, he passed away in Monrovia, California on December 26, 2024, at the ripe old age of 80. But Gary Sutherland will always be a role model to the kids in Montreal. The best way you can say this, most of the young players that I played with in senior ball in New Brunswick in the 1980s saw Sutherland play for the Expos as a child and also the Tigers. Very smooth and double play, like I said, comparable to Dick Green. But the idea about if you can field, you can get away with batting .234 to .240, and that's what he could do. And like I said, I'd like to see how many runs he saved in Montreal, because there was a lot of infield work back in the day. But Montreal, Gene Mock did well. You're only as good as your infield. And, Montreal there for the expansion season, like you said, he had talent, but like I said, he needed more development, and I think it was more be better off in the American League. And when we went with the Tigers, he really shone through. So Gary Sutherland, we do miss you, man. And like I said, I'll be posting some of his important early baseball cards, which a lot of Montreal Expo fans would recognize. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if a whole country remembers you as the first at anything, the legacy for him and his family is well known. And if any members or friends, family members or friends of the Sutherland family hear this or gets to you, we really, really respect him. We really enjoy what he did to put baseball on the map in Canada. And when you're an original Expo, your money's no good in Canada. So if any of the Sutherlands would go into Montreal and said, I'm Gary's grandson, I don't think you'll have to pay for your coffee. Because he was a nice-looking guy, too. Very handsome guy. And like I said, handsome inside and out, like a very, very good, cool cat from what I heard my friends at the Quebec media. So you like what you're doing here with our Montreal Expos Tribute Podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And I'm going to name the column like this, The Spirit of 69, the Montreal Expos, when we do a podcast on the 69 Expos. Thanks for listening. Bye.